Shut up and sit down.
Hello gang, Colin here, Festa 67's workshop, and welcome to part 5 of the Valentino Rossi bike build. And we are on stage 36 of the manifolds and throttle bodies. And we have got the left manifold, right manifold, left throttle body, right throttle body, and the throttle return rods to put together. So we'll get the left one done, and it's a matter of just literally press fitting these little black covers in place, and that's all there really is to that. So we can have a bit of that and just press fit those together. And then they will go into the block just like so, and they're just a simple press and rest fit, and that's all that happens with them. So we'll loop that in between the cables there. I'll just move that out of the way and see how that looks. And it's again just whop it in place, slight tilt, and a press with a thumb, and there she is. And it really is that simple. Just rest them in like so. I did think actually that they would be a click in place, but they're not. They're literally just a rest in place, and from what it looks like is the actual mechanism will hold it in place. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping anyway. So yeah, I'm hoping that the return rod there, once I've got it round the right way, it'll just rest up underneath into the two holes in the bottom of the carburetors there, and we can just guide it in between the tubing, locate it in the little square peg holes, and go for a little bit of a press, and that is in place. So I'll just line them up, drop that down, and we're going to be then ready for stage 37, and that is the intake ducts. And we've got some support rods, some side covers, and a right and left intake duct to go in. So we click them all together, and they're just a little press fit with the rods into the sides there, and there's a little peg that's on these, so you might just want to look out for that, because the peg just engages in a little notch, so you might need to flip it round just to get them locating pegs in place. We'll just have a quick look to make sure mine are. Yeah, they are, and just press them in place like so. And again, once you've got the other side on and then the bodies go on, it'll all support itself when it goes in the airbox. So yeah, so we're having a little looky-loo just to make sure that they're going in like so. Just give that a little bit more of a press just to engage that peg, and that is then pressed together. So we'll grab an intake in a sec, and we'll just check to make sure they fit okay. So I actually make sure that that's going notch in there. See, I'm literally just realised that mine, I didn't have the notch on the right side there. So there you go. Now it should just bing straight in like that. There you go. Yeah, and try not to put too much welly on them as well, because they are they are a bit flexible, some of these parts, and the last thing you want to do is put too much pressure on them without supporting them, otherwise they'll flex and there is a risk that they might snap. So we'll just make sure we've got the correct throttle body air intake, and we'll just drop them in, and the pegs are pretty self-explanatory. You've got a large peg and a small peg, and they just press them in place. So yeah, I'll just flip that round. Try not to drop it this time. Yeah, don't be like Festa. So a little bit of a close-up there, just so that I can see what I'm doing, and we'll just press that in. Yeah, like that. They're a little bit of an angle, but that sorts itself out when you locate it in the retaining part of the airbox. They just lock in place and it all just basically jigs itself square. So yeah, so that's them in place. So I'll grab the airbox and bring that in, and we can drop them in place now, and then they're in there then, and then I can drop that back in its bag and put that somewhere in the box safe, so they're pressed in and the cover can go on. Really is that easy. So I'll just make sure I've got that around the right way, because there's a couple of little latches on this that we fitted in an earlier episode. So I'll just press that home, and then they just literally flick round and engage on the little silver discs, like so. And that is that bit done. So I think we'll put that in the bag, because that's got a carbon finish on it and I don't want to damage that. And then that'll leave us ready for the next stage, which is stage 38, and that's some hoses and gaskets. So we've got a right and left coupling, some ordinary couplings, a couple of thin tubes and a couple of thick tubes, and we've also got the exhaust gaskets, so we'll be fitting them. So we'll just get all the bits and pieces reasonably lined up, and then we'll get the hoses in place. Now some of these hoses I'm a little disappointed, to be honest with you. They do seem a bit flimsy, so although I'm fitting them at this stage, I'm seriously thinking about going back when I do the detailing and probably changing these out, because they just seem a little bit, dare I say it, cheap and nasty. And I don't know, we'll see, but they just don't feel right. They don't seem to look right compared to other builds that I've done with bikes. These hoses just seem a little odd, so I'm going to have a little bit of a zoom in on some proper factory pictures of the bike and just look at the hoses and see what the texture's like and whether they look different to what's been supplied. And if they do, then I shall just get a couple of bags of hose and I'll go back and change them all out. That's the beauty of doing this sort of stuff at this stage in stages, because if you're fussy like me, you might look at it and go, I don't like them. So yeah, but the quality of the tubing don't seem great, so just beware of that, and you might do the same as me. So we'll just put them in the couplings anyway and get them in place on the engine so that we can at least see what they look like. And these are cut to size as well. Now I'm not doing that at the moment, purely and simply because I'm thinking of changing them, but there are measurements on the little downloadable guides that you can get from modelspace, and in there you've got like a 70mm measurement and yeah, that sort of thing. So I'll do the measurements when I review the hoses. So for the moment, just to get things in place and continue the build series, I'm just gonna have them slightly longer than they would intentionally be. So try not to tell me off for not having the hoses at the correct length at this stage, but I know in my head what I'm doing, and that's all that matters to me. So we'll just rest these on. Now these are quite a resistance fit. I noticed this when I did some earlier, so bear that in mind, that you might press these in place and they might be a bit resistant. So you might want to lay it down on the bench or get a set of covered pliers or something and use them just to press these home. I mean, off shot I've got a little multi-tool that I can put different micro bits in for when I'm repairing iPhones and things like that, and without the different Allen adapters in there, the actual holder, the diameter of it is perfect. It just fits over these little plastic bolt holes, so I just rest it against it and just lever it and it just pops them straight in. So you might find you need something a bit more substantial, but be careful. So we'll just have a little check there, make sure that we're going to be putting this on the right place and it's going down onto the twin cylinders on the hydraulic there. So I'll try it with a pair of tweezers, but as you can see the pipe is a lot longer than it would normally be, so I'll probably nip it back a tad just so that I'm a bit happier with it. So I'll just get my cutters and chop this one back a bit, and then we'll put that in place. I'll just move them. Just have a quick check to make sure that I'm orientating things the right way, and then we can put the other connection on the other side of the engine, and this goes just in the block there. It loops round and there's a little peg and the hose will just pop straight on there. But again, they're just a bit of a cruddy fit, if I'm honest. So yeah, bearing in mind I'm going to drop the sump off of this and drop a circuit board up underneath inside the engine, because it's going to have sound, isn't it? So all of this is going to be dismantled at some point when I detail it and redone. So if you're interested in the circuitry side of it, then obviously look over on the Patreon side of things, because I've got quite a few videos going on over there now that are going to be part of that series. And yeah, there's a few little bits and bobs going in there just for the patrons at the moment. And yeah, so we're gonna have a section on the Facebook page that'll have all the information on there. There's no big secret, but I can be a bit guarded about it, because yeah, we'll just grab these little exhaust gaskets and get them in, because I do have a rather large Yamaha exhaust pipe just out of shot, and it's a massive piece of metal, and the detail they went on that's phenomenal. So surprised there's not a lot of bluing on the exhausts as well on this. It's one of them things I thought they would have done. And again, I've managed to get hold of some photographs of the factory bike, and it's enabled me to really see quite close up the weld lines on the exhausts, the bluing and all of that lot. So I'm going to, when I do all of that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to put the weld lines in, I'm going to put the blue in and discoloration on the exhausts in, and look like, you know, make it look like the bike's done a bit of a, you know, a few races, and it's, you know, done its thing, and yeah. So they press in place, and they are a really good resistance fit, those. Now in the instructions or the downloaded pamphlet that you get, it says, oh yeah, you might want to put a bit of adhesive on it. Well, I didn't have to. Mine were really a snug fit, but obviously if yours aren't, or they're a bit wobbly, then whop in a bit of the old CA or something like that. So that's really beginning to take shape now. So I think we're not far off of moving on to the next section. So we'll just put that down, and I think we'll go on to section number 39 already, and that is the rear shock absorber. Now we've got the shock absorber body, we've got the spring, the rods, a type P and a type U screw. So yeah, we'll just drop them out of the bags, and we only want one of each of these screws, so we will be putting the others in back in their appropriate bags and in our box of spare screws, because we're ending up with a nice little collection. But probably find on this the other screw will be mounted on the swing arm, so literally it's a semicircular shape, so it can only go in the one way. So just orientate the spring to where you think it looks most appealing to you, and then just give it a slight compress, pop the screw in, and then obviously use the screwdriver to ping it in there. The screwdriver is magnetic, so it might pop your screw back out, just like that one. Yeah, but yeah, and you can just give it a bit of a squeeze and then line the screw up, and then once it bites you can relax your grip and then tighten the screw up. And I tend to tighten it up so that it bites, then I'll check the spring tension and that it slides as it should. If it doesn't, then I'll just back the screw off a quarter of a turn, so I'll just test that. Yeah, it's a little stiff, so let's just back that off a quarter, like that. There you go. See? And that's a bit better, so it's stiff enough to retain it, but it's not going to bind on the channel of the rod either. So we'll just have a little look, see, and that's a substantial piece of kit, that is. Now there'll be a cover that will go on there at some point, so the parts will probably be in the next packet that comes along, so I'm not too fussed at the moment. It just presses in them two holes. So we'll hang this on the engine anyway. Now there's a little bracket, as you can see, that's got the notch in that the shock absorber goes in, and then you just slide the Allen bolt in, and I'll do it up with my fingers, and then I'll grab the Allen key that's just to my left, and we'll get that in place. So we might be able to do it with a screwdriver. Let's have a look. No, that one's just a bit too small in there. That's a little Allen screwdriver that I use for me phones. So I'll just do it with me fingers until it bites, and then I'll grab the Allen key and do it that way. But it's beginning to take shape, folks, isn't it? Yeah. So whilst I remember, just nip this down a bit, like so. And give that a nice little tighten. It's got a fair old thread on it, I must admit. The never-ending Allen key. It's just beginning to bite now, so I won't go too tight just yet. I'll just let that sit. And then I think, if I just look, yeah, thumbs up, that's my bag of bits and pieces all done for this delivery. So yeah, I've been waiting a while for this little delivery to come, but don't forget we've had Christmas and that. So yeah, the kind folks, I think these come from Italy if I remember rightly, so you know, they've had their break as well. But it's beginning to take shape. So I'll tidy everything up now, and whilst I'm tidying up, I'll just do my usual thank you all for tuning in and watching these little build series. Thank you again to all my patrons for your continued and well valued ongoing support. A list of my patrons will be coming up in the end credits. Have a look at the weekly Sunday brunch shows that I do on the YouTubes, 12:30 till 2:30. Keep an eye out for the Sprue Crew as well. We are going to be doing some random lives again, and it's just a matter of getting us all together. And I'm hoping now that Christmas is out of the way, we can get some regular deliveries for this bike, because we're getting close. So I look forward to the next episode. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, click the bell, and until the next episode, bye bye for now. Ta-la.